Hi guys, and welcome to a battle sent in by the Sly and Sneaky Seal, who's going to be in control of the Lizardmen up against Extreme Meme Team's Flying Taco in command of the mighty Bretonnian forces. So let's see how this one goes underway. Now, as Sly and Sneaky Seal is wont to do, he has brought the Shredder of Lustria, the Regiment Round Dread Saurin. He's a big fan of this beastie. And I think this is one of the matchups where he can actually be very competitive. The Shredder of Lustria costs a crazy amount of money. I believe it's 3,800 gold, and it's just too expensive for most matchups. But Bretonnian have always famously struggled up against the big dinos, the ancient stegodons, carnosaurs, and so forth. So it could be interesting to see how he fares in this matchup. Now, for a secondary line, he does have skink cohorts with javelins here, which is quite a nice pick. They do decent work against peasant archers with their little javelins and trade fairly effectively. And of course, peasant archers are one of the things that could threaten the Shredder of Lustria the most. For a front line, he has gone for Saurus warriors without shields by the looks of it. Most of them just a single chevron, which is pretty damn nice there. And in the back, he does have 2 units of Temple Guard. These guys stacked on top of the Dread Saurin are absolutely terrifying to face. You have that nice anti-large to deal with any knights and so forth who think that they're brave enough to charge in against the mighty Shredder of Lustria themselves. And for leadership, he has just gone for a Slan Mage Priest of Life, which is a pretty nice pick when you bring big entities like the Shredder. So he's brought the Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones of course, Aura of Quetzal, Regrowth, and Earthblood. So he's just been looking to get those big fat heals on the big dino and his Temple Guard most likely. Let's have a little look at Flying Taco's army. For the front line, he has gone for 4 units of peasant mobs. I love to see these, or 5 units in fact, these pathetic little humans right here who are just disgusting to look at. Their little pitchforks and so forth are just going to be there to try and take any early javelin fire and so forth, and at least hold the line a little bit longer. Now, for his main battle line, he actually hasn't gone for too much infantry. It looks like he has 2 units of spearmen at arms protecting 2 field trebuchets. Not something that you see very often. So, in fact, there is 3 spearmen at arms. Shield trebuchets, not known for being particularly great, but against Temple Guard, they could really rack up some good value if they get their shots in and hold long enough. Now, he's gone for obviously quite a heavy cav contingent, being Bretonnia. He has some Knights of the Realm mixed in with some Questing Knights, and on the other flank, also some Knights of the Realm mixed in with some Questing Knights. Questing Knights are a little bit better against infantry, having anti-infantry themselves, and those really awesome greatswords. Knights of the Realm, of course, being a lot more shock cav, and are in fact anti-large, so he should do bits up against the Shredder. For his leadership, he does have the Green Knight, another pick that you don't see too often coming in with those field trebuchets. He is a mighty man indeed, causes terror, is ethereal of course, massive armor piercing, and a bit of a melee expert. I often struggle though to get his value, as he is very expensive, and he is just one model swinging one sword, trying to kill as much as possible. Now, up in the sky, I believe, we do have the mighty King of Bretonnia himself, King Leon Kerr, who just popped a foe seeker there. And let's see what buffs he has brought. He has the Sword of Corone, very nice ability, minus 27 melee defense and minus 30 armor. If he drops that down on the Shredder and gets in there, he should do some very good damage. And of course the Line Shield, giving him that magical and missile resistance, along with all the basic usual stuff. He's also gone for a Damsel of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood herself. So we're trying to get some healing on the big Leon Kerr, and the Green Knight trying to get the best value out of them possible. Looks like an early Shield of the Odd Ones was dropped down, probably protecting these Temple Guard from any nasty catapult fire, but still maybe a little bit of an early play. And some shots, as you can see, the Shredder of Lustria can in fact fire. It has these rather nasty blow darts on the back, firing up, doing some decent damage to Leon Kerr. That thing is no joke. And you see, Catapult has come flying in. It looks like it's crushed a few poor little skinks down here, or maybe even the Saurus warriors. So the Shredder of Lustria, the big doggo, is on the hunt here. He smells peasants, which can't be a very nice smell. It's probably irritating him quite badly. And he's charging then, instantly terror routes these guys. In fact, routes them, and they're going to be running for their lives. But no doubt they'll be coming back. Already 9 mighty kills on the Shredder. So it looks like Sly and Sneaky Seal is moved up some skink cohorts on the right hand flank with some Temple Guard, just to try and screen out these nasty Knights of the Realm. As his Saurus warriors do, he starts to engage with the front line of dirty, filthy peasant mobs. King Leon Kerr has dropped down on the Slar Mage, dropped the Sword of Crone, trying to get in there and snipe out his caster early on. But the big doggo is on guard duty and comes running back, and King Leon Kerr does not want to fight this fight for too long a period of time. Yes, he can do some decent damage back himself, but he's taking darts, he's getting poisoned, and he's just going to take an absolute beating if he stays there. So very nice play here by Flying Taco, pulling him out, trying to get in the damage where he can. It looks like we're going to have a banishment come down onto these spearmen, which isn't a bad shout, doing some huge damage actually straight off the gate there, getting them down to below half health. And the Saurus Warriors have engaged with the peasant mobs, trying to break through on top of these spearmen and shut down those trebuchets. On the right flank, a nice pick here, 2-for-1 deal. Knights of the Realm and Question Knights coming in, tearing apart these Saurus Warriors on the flank. Very nice pick there. Where are the other unit of Cav? They're not doing any sneaky flank shenanigans. Instead, they're coming straight down the gullet on the front line, looking to shatter some of these Temple Guard, which is going to be a pretty tough fight. They have to be careful, getting in there, doing their damage, and then fleeing before the Temple Guard really get up and fight him. Because, of course, they are anti-large themselves. The Shredder just doing what the Shredder does, tearing through the front line of peasants, eating a lot of these spearmen. He does not care, they are anti-large, and in fact putting a lot of pressure on these Knights of the Realm as well, who are now struggling up against some Saurus Warriors. Now they've lost that charge. Temple Guard fleeing all around the place, trying to protect the escaping cohorts, but Flying Taco doing a great job here of chasing down these guys with his Knights of the Realm, and they're just going to send these escaping cohorts flying and dead to the ground. Overall, the whole battle has got really well and truly underway. It's a very blood and thunder affair, as the Green Knight has come charging in, the heroic knight, trying to take down the mighty beast, the story of old. He is, however, not expecting some Temple Guards to come running in and flinging themselves at him. It looks like he has a ridiculous number of javelins in his shield as well, and he's getting beat pretty bad, even though he's ethereal and, of course, has that massive resistance. The Saurus are, of course, going to win that front line against the peasant mobs, breaking through, and it looks like they have started to overrun one of the field trebuchets. However, what I quite like here is the field trebuchets weren't together. Flying Taco had separated them quite heavily, so this one is getting some nice crossfire now, up to 20 kills, and if he's firing into, Saurus, that's pretty good value. Firing into Temple Guard, that's very good value so far. But one of the field trebuchets has been completely broken off now. Every time King Leon Kerr does come in for an alpha strike, the Shredder is not too far behind, coming in and now doing some decent damage to these Knights of the Realm. We're trying to get in there with that anti-large, but it's just not going to be enough against such a mighty beast. Peasant mobs flinging themselves into the action, trying to assist the Green Knight, who has got a little bit caught up on Temple Guard, which, he does have that resistance, but it's not where he wants to be. They still have anti-large and a very ferocious enemy. He's trying to snipe out that Slam Mage Priest, but with all the healing, it is going to be a tough affair to deal with. The first trebuchet looks like one of the trebuchets is that broken? Nope, it's just in firing position. The Shadow of Lustria, though, is on the hunt. It's going to start trying to push even further into this back line. Power balance now starting to favour the Lizardman a little bit. However, there's still a fairly healthy Green Knight and a very, very healthy King Leon Kerr. And as you can see, every single time the Shredder overextends, King Leon Kerr comes in to threaten the Slam Mage Priest, really trying to break him down, destroy that Lizardman leadership, as he knows it's going to be very tough to beat these Temple Guards stacked on top of this Shredder in a straight-up maul fight. With some very brave peasant mobs coming for a rear charge on these Saurus Warriors. These brave men-at-arms, or spearmen-at-arms, are trying desperately to defend this field trebuchet, which is now up to 40 kills, doing a ton of decent work, and the Shredder is being forced to come back and once again try and protect the Slar Mage Priest. Temple Guard, however, doing a decent job. Of course, it is their job to protect Slar Mage Priest in law. They're doing a very decent job just holding down King Leon Kerr wherever he goes, allowing this Shadow of Lustria to use his very quick pace. It's very quick for a large monster to come in and save the day every single time. So overall, nice play by both players. Sly and Sneaky still just trying to keep his units bunched up as much as possible, and Flying Taco doing a great job of picking off units wherever he can, trying to get him with those decent cycle charges. However, these Knights of the Realm now are going to be getting dragged down by these mental mighty Temple Guard here, and even the Slar Mage Priest is getting in on the action. A bold charge coming in by King Leon, getting in there doing some huge damage to the Slar Mage Priest. These Temple Guard and Shredder are going to react to those, so he quickly, he does quickly fly up into the sky there and escape. Now over in this frontline engagement, Shield of the Old Ones has gone down, giving a bit of help to these Saurus Warriors, who are getting pinned in place by 2 units of Spearmen. It looks like some more on the way as well, trying to protect this field trebuchet. Up to 41 kills now, hasn't gained many kills since we last looked, but it might be firing at some of those big targets. It looks like the Damsel Life has managed to rally some of the men of Bretonnia to her cause. That massive rear charge coming in here from 2 units of Question Knights and 1 unit of Knights of the Realm. Going to be coming in, trying to isolate this unit of Temple Guard here. Very nice play, but the Shredder has come back just in time It looks like they are going to turn that charge around. Although some of the Quester Knights still going pretty bold, charging in there, trying to pick off that unit. So yes, Temple Guard are large, but if you can isolate them, get some good cycle charges in, there's not too much they can do as they'll spend most of the time on the back foot. Green Knight charging heroically, trying to take down the Slan Mage Priest, but looks like he is constantly dropping those Earthbloods on himself, the Shredder and those Temple Guard, keeping those guys in the action. If I was flying Taco, I'd probably bring his cav over to this contingent here, shatter these two Saurus warriors, and make a last stand around this Field Trebuchet, or at least push up a bit again, but at least, you know, break off these tuners, get that value where you can, and ensure the Field Trebuchet can continue firing. He's up to 64 kills now, it's going to be pretty key in trying to take down these Temple Guard. King Leon Kerr, the mighty king of Bretonnia, is dueling the foul Shredder of Lustria, but it is not going very well for the mighty king here. He does have regeneration, but he is at his healing cap now, so he's been doing a lot of fighting, getting in there, trying to get the value where he can, up to 26 kills, but he's been mainly going for those large targets, and the Green Knight is now neck deep in Temple Guard here. Oops, sorry, it's got my phone alarm going off there. And it looks like some knights have snuck around the side with the Damsel of Life and the King Leon Kerr as well. They are in fact going to come in here and just tank these Saurus warriors, finishing them off for good, which is nice to see. So good play so far by both players. We do have some pretty beleaguered Knights of the Realm who were going to charge down some Skink cohort, but those brave little lizards stood their ground, stared them down, and the Knights are going to be fleeing, taking some javelins in the back. In fact, one of them fall into one of those mighty Skinks, which is quite sad to see. The Trebuchet still firing in, aiming at those Temple Guards, trying to whittle them down, up to 77 kills now, getting some fantastic value there. But now the Shredder has got himself over here, he could just push his way through and destroy that Field Trebuchet rather comfortably. As you can see, he's going to be ramshackling through some peasants here, just shoving that damsel to the side, and in fact breaking her just by walking over her there, which is not a good day for her at all. She's quite low now, down to 340 health, but she may rally, you never know. Power balance is still in the Lizardman's favour, but it's not out of this yet. There's still a fairly healthy King Leon who keeps coming in for these cycle charges, trying to break these Temple Guard and Slan Mage Priest, but he's just not doing enough damage on the charge in, and there's not enough Knights yet to support. Shield of the Odd Ones going down as well, giving these guys a bit of added protection, allowing the Shield of Lustria time to fall back and really try and protect the Slan Mage Priest, who's now coming in and eating some Knights of the Realm, though in return he's getting charged in the rear by the Green Knight. So it looks like Flying Taco did a very kind of veteran player move here. When the Field Trebuchet was under pressure, he merely took the crew off and ran away. And now that the threat has gone away, they can't be bothered to chase them. He can just turn around and hop back on top of those Trebuchets. And it looks like the other Trebuchet is also online now, but only up to 12 kills, really not making any much value there. So it is mainly just the King and the Green Knight left. Let's take stock of what's around the battlefield. We have a beaten up unit of Knights of the Realm. These Field Trebuchet desperately trying to get on top of the Trebuchet. Not going to go too well for them here. The Shredder does come in, shunting that Trebuchet to the side and terrorizing those poor peasants. But apart from the Knights of the Realm, King Leon Kerr and the Green Knights, there is one Field Trebuchet online. That is about it, and I do not think he has enough. If Sly and Sneaky Seal simply bottles up here, I don't think there's too much the Bretonians can do. Temple Guard holding strong, even though they are very, very beaten up at this point. But the Shredder incredibly healthy, and the Slan Mage Priest is no small fellow himself. He's very tanky health pool. Not the best melee combatant, but it doesn't matter too much. Big Sword Crone gone in, and the Green Knight and King Leon Kerr desperately trying to drag down the Shredder of Lustria, but it is simply too tanky. You can see his health is falling rapidly. It's a bit too little too late. He's doing some decent damage to the Green Knight, who's at his healing cap before turning and starting to feast on King Leon Kerr himself and shattering him completely. It is just going to be the Green Knight in a desperate last stand now up against these Temple Guard, Shredder of Lustria and Slan Mage Priest, which is not a party he wants to rumble with. Big rear attack. Oh no, frontal attack coming in there. And Flying Taco does in fact concede at that point, knowing he has lost the battle. So a Pyrrhic victory there for the Lizardmen. Let's go to the end stats. So overall, very well played to both opponents. I think this is personally a really tough matchup for Bretonnians anyway. And the big new units haven't added too much to the Lizardmen, but you know, it's more units that the Bretonnians struggle up against. Some fantastic play with the Knights. We'll see 182 kills, 156 kills, really making these Skink cohort pretty useless in the end. I mean, they didn't have any good targets themselves, no peasant archers or anything to face down. But overall, pretty nice play. There just was not enough to hold the mighty beast in place. Saurus Warriors tore through that peasant line very quickly, as expected, and got on top of that Field Trebuchet, shutting it down. The other one making some good value. But Temper Guard stacked on top of a Slann Mage Priest of Life, stacked on top of a Shredder of Lustria, is a very incredibly dangerous and potent combination. However, it can, it's a very expensive investment. Luckily, there wasn't too much anti-large, as of course Bretonnians do kind of struggle with that. And the Shredder, 154 kills for the most part. Yes, he did kill some peasants, but for the most part, those kills were on brave Knights of Bretonnia. And he did a good job of constantly bringing him back, protecting that Slann Mage Priest from those snipes that King Leon Kerr and the Green Knight were really trying to do. So super fun battle. Really thank you to Sly and Sneaky Seal for sending it in to me. And if you guys ever do want to send in a replay to me, want to see you yourself on my channel, I'm always happy to cast games. Just get in contact with me on Discord. My name is still a Rubber Duck of War. You can find me on all the main Total War Discords. So hopefully I will face both of these guys on ladder and in multiplayer soon. Until next time, guys, stay awesome. Peace, peace.